2025 NFL Draft is exactly what we are talking about today as we discuss Georgia edge Mykel Williams. I would say one of the more frequent guys mocked to Green Bay, and one of my favorite ideas. Going to drive Packers fans nuts. Very much in a similar place as the Shamar Stewart plan, but he didn't test, so he hasn't risen the way that Shamar Stewart has. Pros. He is a freak show, 6'5", 260 pounds, sculpted by God to play the edge in the modern NFL. Just look at him, watch him play. He looks like an all-pro edge. Now, it does not necessarily mean that he is a great football player or even a good football player, but he's got the frame. He looks the part. He is great off the ball, explosive athlete, and has the speed to chase guys down. I'll tell you this, okay? He has whatever would have happened in Indy. I'm almost basically treating it like it has happened. He is an unbelievable athlete. I have zero questions about what he would have done from a speed standpoint. I think he would have basically broken the internet. I don't know why he didn't run. Obviously waiting for Georgia's pro day, or maybe there's an injury issue. I don't know, but he is something else, man. He is fast at that size. Disruptive. Tackle for loss numbers are there, right? 23 tackles for loss in 3 seasons. And then, you're talking about sack numbers. We'll get into that a little bit, but should have the knee and ankle flexibility even at 260 pounds to turn the edge against NFL tackles. Can and does convert speed to power, especially if they put him out in the wide 9. He will smash people in the face, okay? He does an excellent job of knockback, excellent job of bull rush, excellent job of what you would expect a freak athlete like him to do against NFL tackles or against future NFL tackles in the SEC. Staunch run defender who holds the point of attack. He will be a positive in your run game, whether you're running a 4-3 like Green Bay or a 3-4 like a number of other teams. Sufficiently good at tackling and actually getting the ball carrier down to the ground. Not an elite tackler, but does a decent enough job at that. Where are we? Very young prospect who should be moldable and coachable, either 20 or 21-year-old kid. To that end, he was good enough as an 18-year-old true freshman to have a major impact at Georgia in 2022. He had 4.5 sacks as an 18-year-old kid, 7 tackles for a loss, played in 15 games. I mean, he was really impressive, right? He was really impressive for a team that won the title, and he was playing against men, especially in the era of NIL and the era of the COVID extra year. He was playing against men as an 18-year-old and wrecking them on the way to a national championship. Guys, buy the Green Bay Draft Guide, powered by Pack Report. Use promo code DAILY for $1 off. There's just so much. My personal Packers big board, Packers specific big board, 7-round Packers mock feature articles from Packers writers that you love. Jacob Morley's tier system to narrow down the type of players that you need to be paying attention to. Come draft weekend, guys, buy the guide. Cons. Pass rush productivity right now is a little bit more of a projection than what he actually has on the in the box score and on tape right now. 14 sacks in 3 years, nothing terrible, but nothing to write home about. Finished with just 5 sacks this past year, and that's not necessarily what you're looking for in a first-round pick, but it's not hugely problematic either. He probably needs to get stronger, which makes sense for a 20-year-old kid. He plays too tall at times, which to me, I can see with Mykel Williams that he's been the best athlete on the field his entire career. And that's the case with a lot of NFL guys. But you can see Siobhan Ravel reminds me of that a little bit, too, at the corner spot. Mykel Williams has just been better than everyone. And so the technique lacks a little bit. Pad level lacks a little bit. And I think if he gets it with a good, kind of hard-nosed defensive line coach, he can maybe be brought down a peg. Not that he necessarily needs that, but just like you have to use the same good technique as everybody else. I get that you're a super athlete, but you have to improve your pad level, improve your technique. Very clear that he can just get away with being awesome. Probably got away with being awesome in high school and has so far gotten away with being awesome at Georgia. Counter game is non-existent right now in the pass rush game. I have watched all of his pass rush reps. I don't know if I can point one out where I really love, like, okay, move one didn't work, and then move two was a counter spin, counter swim, counter whatever into the QB. There's some hustle plays, right? Like you'll get the hustle sacks just based on his speed. I mean, if he detaches, there's any kind of scramble drill and he detaches from his tackle, he's going to hunt your QB down like a Scud missile. But he's not fluent in the counter game from a hands perspective in pass rush. Not much of a shedder. When offensive tackles get hands on, even at 260 pounds, he stays blocked. You get him engaged within the breastplate, right where you're supposed to be, not hands outside holding, but in here. He stays blocked, and that's the one issue that I kind of saw in run defense. Overall, though, still I say what I said as far as being a pro. I mean, he's a good run defender. Packers fit A plus 100%, the most Packersy Packer that ever Packered. Mykel Williams is a Packer. His height weight is going to be right what they want. I would tell you that the rest of the athletic testing, just by watching the film and believing what I believe, I think he would grade out as a tier 1 Packers edge rusher. We don't know that because we don't know testing, but that's my feeling. Underdeveloped, super toolsy pass rusher from Georgia. I mean, how can Goody even help himself, right? It just sounds like Brian. Now, obviously, the pass rushers aren't who he's taken from Georgia. Certainly not young ones. Devontae Wyatt was an old, but it hits a lot of the sweet spots for Georgia, for Goody. Super young prospect, crazy athlete from a school that he likes. It's pretty Packersy. I think he has the upside to become the most important player in this class. I think, that's maybe his 5th or 10th percentile outcome, right? You're reaching like the peak of what he could be. But my God, I think he could kind of be everything. They have a need at pass rush. Van Ness hasn't hit yet, might not ever. They traded Preston. Gary's coming off a disappointing season. They're hoping to get something out of Brenton Cox. Kingsley Enagbare, I think, has just a ceiling as probably a good edge 3. This is right there for them. And once again, have I mentioned that Goot drafts guys from UGA? I think it could be right there. I do. I think it could be right there for them. I see it as a likely outcome, and I think some of it will drive people nuts. He was more productive than Shamar Stewart. He's unbelievable, and what he could be. Not unbelievable yet, but unbelievable in what he could be. As far as I'm concerned, I give him a solid first-round grade. I didn't give him a top 10 grade. I know that sounds dumb because I'm going to tell you he's my 10th overall player. I didn't have 10 guys that got that grade. That really means most of my top 10 overall players that get that top 10 grade, I know this is starting to sound confusing. If I give you a top 10 grade, I think you're going to be really, really good right away, like immediately, and then have the potential to be a star. I think Mykel Williams could use a little bit, and I don't know how many quote unquote like stars are in this class. It's not my favorite class ever, and so that's why he is ranked 10th, but only has that solid first-round grade for me. He is my second ranked edge in this class, and at 23, I would absolutely take him in a heartbeat. Folks, drink Badger State beer, buy the draft guide, and go Pack Go.